How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Jim Acosta yet again. Yes, that story still has legs. Yes, this is still an issue. Why? Because CNN is suing the White House. Like I said before, I said it on a live video. I said it during my video previously, the one I did about Jim Acosta. People were asking me, why is it a big issue? There are bigger fish to fry. We got the midterm elections going on. Things are going haywire. But I told people, it's like, look, CNN is taking it to a new level. They're going to go to court and they're going to sue. People said they can't do that. Here we are. A lawsuit has been filed in the D.C. District Court. The lawsuit is against Donald Trump, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, John Kelly, the Secret Service itself, and many others that are inside the White House over the Jim Acosta incident. Now, if you don't know, if you need a quick refresher, I'll let you know. Jim Acosta was in the White House for a press conference asking questions, and he started to behave like a troll, an irritant, an agitator, as he always does. It went from, I'm asking you a question as a CNN reporter, to now I'm going to argue with you about stuff. The migrant caravan, talking about, oh, why do you call it a caravan? It's not a caravan. They're just migrants. It's hundreds of miles away. See, I'm not really trying to hear all that about what you think, Jim Acosta. It's not about you. It's about you ask a question to Trump and then you have it answered. Don't go back and forth trying to argue. If you want to do that, set up a debate, set up something else. Don't have it right here during the White House press corps conference. That is not the purpose of this particular place. You're using your time on air to editorialize, to entertain, and to try and build up CNN's failing ratings. This is why Don Lemon comes on TV and says crazy things like, you know, white men, the biggest terror threat. It's all about trying to get attention. CNN has become TMZ, which is why Donald Trump has revoked Jim Acosta's press pass. Now, this pass not only allows him just to be, you know, in Trump's presence asking him questions at particular events, it's also to get past Secret Service, because here's an example of what I mean. Jim Acosta went to Paris when Trump was speaking to Macron and other European leaders. The French government gave him access to the area Trump was in to ask questions, so that part he had taken care of. So if it's the White House, you would have that part, but you got to be able to get inside the president's space, which he did not have access to, because you need the other part of the pass, which is Secret Service security clearance. And he does not have that anymore. So he couldn't, quote unquote, do his job. And that's the central part of this lawsuit. They're talking about Jim Acosta. He's been a journalist 20 years. He can't do his job anymore. The president shouldn't be in the business of picking and choosing who gets to cover him. It's not about that. They're trying to allude to a constitutional thing. First Amendment, freedom of press, freedom of speech. It's not even about that. Trump cannot prevent CNN from reporting on him. That's their right as citizens. That's their right as a press. However, he can prevent somebody from coming into his personal space and being an invasive presence, an irritant, a troll, and a nuisance. He can most certainly say, I don't want you here for that. So this lawsuit really has no leg to stand on. Matter of fact, I think it's a think tank. I'm not sure if it's partisan at all, but I believe they're called the Poynter Institute. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments. But they said that all Jim Acosta was doing was basically just arguing. He was not being a true journalist. This is not what journalism should be. Jim Acosta has been an irritant for a long time, and I'm glad that he got his press pass revoked. Now, if you want to see this lawsuit, it will be in the description box. I'll also place it on the screen before you. It's really crazy. You'll see the people that are named in it, Trump down to the Secret Service and others. And you also see some of the quote unquote facts they lay out. They talk about the whole microphone incident, but they seem to leave out the biggest part, which is probably the straw that broke the camel's back in Jim Acosta's case. In the lawsuit, they're talking about how he said, excuse me, ma'am. And they try to put all the blame on a young lady for how she went about taking the mic from Jim Acosta. They're trying to say she's reaching across his body and all this and that. They're trying to say that she was the aggressor in the lawsuit. But we've all seen the video. Don't believe the hype talking about, oh, it was doctored. No, it was not doctored. We all saw it live as it was happening. The replays of it, doctor or no one, It's all the same. It's the same thing. You see her try to get the mic. And to back up a little bit, people were saying that she was violating his rights, squashing his First Amendment rights, freedom of speech. No, she was protecting freedom of speech for everybody in the room. You have a finite amount of time for all these reporters in the place, 50, 100 people, to get their questions out there and get their questions answered. So if you got Jim Acosta trying to be Barbara Walters right then and there, you're going to have other people that don't have time to get out their particular questions and get an answer back from the president. So she was just doing what her job was. Trump said, okay, time's up, enough, next person. He's not giving the microphone up. So she's trying to go take it from him because he has it in his hands like this, but he's not giving it up. And he's karate chopping the arm in the center to prevent her from taking the microphone from him. It's not your mic, Jim Acosta. It belongs to the U.S. government. So, prime example, you're in my house, right? I lend you my phone. Not give is a big difference, but I lend you my phone to make a phone call. After the phone call is over, you still got the phone in your hand. I'm like, all right, boss, can I get the phone back? And then you still like talking to somebody else and ignoring me. I'm like, let me get the phone back. Now, if you don't get the phone back, that's called theft. So you can't take my property. I'm going to take my property back. You can't say after you are withholding the property of the U.S. government that somebody was wrong to take it from you to give it back to the U.S. government. That's not how that works. Okay, so this lawsuit has no legs. I'm surprised it's not being called frivolous yet. That's what it should be. TMZ and CNN at this point are the exact same thing. And quite frankly, I trust TMZ more than CNN. I believe, this is just my opinion, so don't nobody get triggered. Or you spread misinformation. This is just my opinion. I think that CNN realizes that just the regular news coverage and the old school way of doing things on television does not work anymore. You got to go viral on social media. You got to have controversy. You got to have, shocking and bold statements to stay afloat, to continue to be relevant, which is why you have a guy like Don Lemon come on television talking about white men are the biggest terror threat, which is why you have a guy like Jim Acosta always being a troll. I don't think it was always like this. I think it's just in the age of Trump that they have just fed into this whole thing. A lot of their viewers hate Trump. They hate conservatives. So they're going to do everything they can to agitate conservatives and agitate Trump just to try and prove to their particular crowd how, quote unquote, bad we are. But all they're really doing is making themselves look ridiculous, because the people that actually watch news for real and know what's going on both sides of the aisle, they're starting to look at this whole thing as nothing more than a sideshow, which is what it is. So, yes, there is a lawsuit out there. I think the goal is to get Jim Acosta's press pass reinstated, but I doubt it's going to happen. You're not entitled to that by the Constitution. Just because you say you're a journalist does not mean you have carte blanche to do whatever you want or to have access to the White House. Because if that's the case, everybody would say that they're a journalist to get inside the White House whenever they want it. That's not how it goes. The press pass and the hard pass to get past Secret Service should be a privilege and not something that is seen as a right. You don't have the right to just do whatever you want to do. You have a privilege to be in the White House. You have a privilege to be a journalist, being able to ask Donald Trump questions. But that is pretty much all I got. What say you? Do you think that CNN is right to file this lawsuit against Donald Trump, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, John Kelly, Secret Service, and others? If so, please explain to me why. How are they right to file this lawsuit? I don't understand. Just because he got his press pass revoked does not mean it's some kind of legal thing that needs to be handled. Look, it's a privilege. You had it, but now you've lost it. It's not going to be a permanent thing you can't ever lose. So I don't know what the lawsuit is going to be hinged on, but do you think that I'm right here, that Jim Acosta has been a constant troll, a constant nuisance, a constant pest, and it's high time that he got eradicated from the White House? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.